Hello, hello, hi, folks. Welcome. Happy Tuesday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. Welcome. Good to see you. Man, I'm getting so much feedback from yesterday's live, the sack of balls that I don't have with me right now. I got so much feedback from that. Thank you, I think, for some of the feedback, for all the feedbacks. I appreciate it. So tonight, it actually kind of goes hand in hand with what I was talking about last night. But okay, so when you think about life, what is the meaning of life, right? And listen, I'm not going to get that deep on you. I'm not. It's not one of those lives, right? But you have your thoughts, right? You have your thoughts. Maybe it's a journey. Maybe it's an accomplishment for you. Maybe it's a legacy. Maybe the whole thing is a game. Maybe the whole thing is just fake. I don't know. Whatever it is that you think the meaning of life is, and again, we're not going to get deep. This is not that live. But 2,400 years ago, a guy by the name of Plato had a thought about the meaning of life. And he said that the meaning of life is like being chained and forced to, being chained, faced a wall, and forced to just watch a wall all day, every day. And in fact, what he explained it as is that so these prisoners were prisoned from birth, and they had not seen the outside world, and they were chained in front of a wall, and they were forced to just face the wall, and they couldn't turn their heads back. So they only could see the front, and they had no exposure to the outside world. So they had no idea what the outside world was all about. Behind them, there was a fire that was lit. To money, welcome. And between them and the fire, there was just like a walkway. And from time to time, people would walk in that walkway and carrying different things, different pets, different things in their hands. And the prisoners could only see their shadows because of the fire and them walking in front of the fire and reflected on the cave wall in front of them. They could only see the shadows of what was behind them. So they couldn't really see reality. So they had ideas and names for these things in their head. Well, one day, suddenly, one prisoner is released, and he gets to go to the outside world. And he goes to the outside world, and the sun hits him so hard, and he just has a really hard time seeing. After a while, when he starts to kind of see things, and he sees shadows, and he sees things, and he's having a hard time deciding between the shadow and the item, because all he's used to is the shadow, right? So people are telling him, no, the shadow is actually a reflection of the real thing, and it's not the actual real thing. So he's having a difficult time with this, until one day he gets to see the sun. And the sun happens to be what? The source of all this thing. So he gets all excited. He runs back inside, and he wants to tell, his prisoner friends about the outside. And he's trying to explain the outside world, and he's trying to explain to them that this is not reality. These shadows that we're seeing is not reality. There's actually real items, real stuff out there, real pets, real people are out there. And the prisoner friends, if you would, they think he's crazy. They think he's lost his mind. In fact, when he comes closer to rescue them, they get violent with him and kick him off, right? Now, you can translate this story in so many different ways, right? Wait a minute, I didn't flip my screen. No. Did I flip my screen? I think my sign behind me is backward. Sorry if I didn't flip the screen. I guess I could flip the screen now. Let's see. Can I flip the screen now? Yes, I can flip the screen now. So you can translate the story in so many different ways, but the one that speaks to my heart, hey D, how are you? Welcome, good to see you. So the one that speaks to my heart is, I mean, it just goes hand in hand with what I was talking about last night, right? When you leave an environment that you're used to that environment, and the people around you are used to you being in that environment, and you are used to those people being around you in that environment. It's just your comfort zone. You know what I mean? You know the people, you know the environment. Once you leave that, it's like, let's say you go to the moon. You see the moon, you come back and you're trying to tell us all about how amazing, walking on the moon is. And we're staring at you like, what are you talking about? Because we haven't experienced that. We haven't been to the moon. No matter how descriptive you get, I can't get that feeling, right? And it's so true with so many things, right? When you step out of the crowd, it's kind of difficult to step back into that crowd, because you almost don't fit in anymore. You feel me? It's like I'll give you this. When I went to Michigan, I went to Michigan for about 4.5, 5 years, right? So when I went to Michigan, I didn't have a lot of interaction with a lot of people, right? And I don't want to share a lot of the story about the Michigan, but when I came back, I'm from Orange County, from California. I was 13 when I moved here. When I went to Michigan, I was 42 or 3, something like that. It was 7 years ago, so 43, right? So I went at 40, actually at 42. I went at 42. Now when I came, so I've been here, pretty much most of my life, right? So when I came back to Irvine, Orange County, I literally felt like I stepped off a spaceship. I did not know where I was. This is where I grew up. I literally had, I was so off for, even to this day a little bit, but for at least a good, what I'm talking about, good 3 months. I literally was off. Like, I literally felt like I walked out of a time capsule, right? And my friends and my family, they still talk about it. They're like, it wasn't you. Like, you're not you. Which they even asked me at that time. They're like, are you okay? What's going on? What I'm sharing with you is, when you step out of that environment you're so used to, right? And you want to get out and you want to experience something new. I haven't ever been in the army, but I would think that's the same way. When you get out and you step out and you go into that environment, and then when you come back home, it's like everybody's got to be like foreigners to you, right? It's got to be that same experience. You go to a dorm for 4 years for your university. After 4 years, you come back home, and it's like your parents are strangers to you. Just reality. Plato explains it so well. We chain ourselves, we force ourselves to just face a cave wall and not really accept reality, not even look at reality. And then when someone else comes and tells us about reality, what's the real world like, we kick him off. We don't believe them. Why? Because we have been chained all our lives, and we have been forced to stare at a wall in a cave. What a great analogy by Plato. The meaning of life. What a great analogy. I'm asking you, first, not accept, at least entertain the idea of somebody else sharing reality with you, or sharing an idea with you, or whatever it may be. Entertain that. Don't kick it off just because, right? And two, unchain yourself. You don't have to stare at a wall. There's so much out there in the world. There's so many opportunities. There's so many things out there that you can do that just to impact the world, right? To change your life even. Let's just go there. How about you impact your own world, you know? But you got to unchain yourself and step out and go and experience reality. And sometimes it takes a while to get adjusted because, you know, you just were in the dark for so long. You come out and you're like, oh my God, this information is so overwhelming. There's just so much. And then after a while, it's just like, oh, I don't even know how I was in that cave for that long. Feel me? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Right? I hope you got some love, some inspiration, some value. I appreciate you that join me live and comment and all that good stuff. I appreciate you guys. Drop your thoughts, your comments, your life stories below. You don't have to just send them to me in chat. You can share them here as well. I definitely appreciate it. Thank you, Dee. I appreciate you. And like always, until tomorrow, when we do it all over again. Much love.